Today is the 21st of March, and this is about the activity on Upland Avenue. Advice on them. So what I was... Okay, so for the past few days, I have been freeing up space. I got 2 new USBs that have 256 gigabytes on them. So what I was doing was freeing up the space, like by transferring the content from my SD cards to that USB. I haven't left my apartment. Let's see. March. Okay, so today's the 21st of March. I need to mark that I didn't leave today. Okay. Real quick. There's 2 places that I annotate that type of information. So my calendar is just like an overview. My Facebook page, there's a thread, something like a thread in the comments, that literally marks every single day since about October of last year, 2020. My digital journals also mark literally everywhere I've gone, how much time I've spent there, unless it was under 15 minutes. So I guess I'll show you that real quick. Hold on. Since the whole reason that I started recording anyhow was to connect, or stop that recording was to connect to the internet. Okay, so they go back to September. This is all daily activity. Walking and bus activity. What stores I went to. Literally all my time is accounted for. Whether I stayed in my apartment or not. Because I do spend extensive time periods in my apartment. When I say extensive, I guess the most extreme that it gets is about a week and a half. It doesn't get any more extreme than that. Maybe 2. So this is every day since September 2020. Okay, and so you'll see that's yesterday. I didn't leave my apartment. That's all I had to say about yesterday. I might as well do this while I'm here. This is nothing like digital journal. I'll show you that. It just notes where I was specifically for the purpose of parallel reality. I'm being lied on. My whereabouts are being lied about by the government, and it's not much of a public issue other than the identities that they're using around me. So this information will mean a whole lot to you, the viewer, but to those agencies that are looking in on this isolated content, those are the ones that are gaining intel. I can't believe I didn't have a picture put with that. Anyhow, so that's that. Then there's this. And they corrupted this. This journal actually covers a longer period of time. But this is where, like I said, it goes into detail. So you'll see where I went, the time, all kinds of stuff. I put everything in here. Okay, that's that. That was last May. That was a different situation. All these things were done with science. Okay, there. So the neighbors, I don't have that information on here to show you, but it's the end of my roll-up that you can find on Twitter. They grow. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so when you look at the end of my roll-up on Twitter, this is kind of what you can expect to see, but normally it's a hard copy and these boxes are filled in. This was like probably one of the first times that I did it this way, and it's just because of the circumstances at the time. And then it had the previous and stuff like that. But anyhow, that's where that information is. That would be extremely bad off. Those that they are using to manipulate reality with the most. They were really desperate when I haven't been out, and they don't have a way to lie and claim that, they ran across me or that they see me or that they have an encounter. So, yesterday I decided I was going to, well, you'll see all that. And I have the new element to this all is that I have Wi-Fi. They're attacking me extremely bad right now. They're trying to keep me from speaking. So some of these things, some of the topics may be out of order. I might mention B before I mention A, but you'll still be able to follow it. And by now you should be familiar with remote neural monitoring and how that works. I've talked about it enough. But the new element is that I have Wi-Fi. So, and not installed by a cable company, so I don't have one of the local cable companies. I have a phone that has a hotspot. I got a new phone. And it's free. So anyhow, this is how it started. I was up. I had got done putting some garlic bread in the oven. Oh, I need to let you see the time. And then watch. She was about to take a walk. She literally walked right down to Joanna's, came out the driveway, and then came right where she didn't pass in front of here. So she acted like she was going to take a walk. There's nothing else to that video. But she took off with 302. I believe that girl's name is Nicole. She took off with her kid and began to walk as if she was going to take a walk. But she was really just trying to, she saw the opportunity to get to where she was going quicker. And also there was some movement in the driveway that she was trying to align herself with. Kelly Bunt's son-in-law had just pulled back up. So when there's more than one tracker in the area, you've seen this on like YouTube type stuff. If I had Wi-Fi on, I could show you something like that. But that's how you manipulate who's who, when they're looking at the identities in the area. I only showed you that little tidbit to show you that if one is being still, that two could easily align with it and take off and pose as it. You probably recall me talking about it a lot in 2000. Well, those videos haven't hit the internet. In 2019, I discussed that a whole lot about how they were attacking me badly with science in order to keep me still. They were trying to keep me from moving so that they could suggest that others were me and place them in a vibrational frequency where they could attract those things they could not otherwise attract. Okay, I have an exact example in mind, but I want to be real clear with you real quick about how extreme this is. So imagine waking, those identities around you being in place. You know, others leave in the morning because they're supporting a different suggestion. They're suggesting that you're working, okay? But then there's others that are supporting a different suggestion for a different tier or group of individuals, elite members. Okay, so when you wake, you get up and you go to the restroom, because that's kind of what most folks do when they get up in the morning. You get up and you notice that literally everything that for months, the agents that are talking to you have been suggesting that these agents that are using the identities of the neighbors are not anywhere around you, that they know they're not supposed to be around you at all because of the type of sabotage that they've caused and the type of damage that they've done to you. Okay, so when you wake, they begin to move. They immediately try to move out and leave, and then they drain you of literally all of your energy to keep you still as soon as they go. So it's you that they're suggesting got up and left, and you know, another identity, whoever they're claiming that you're with, that's remaining still. Okay, and that's not how I was going to say that, but that's how all I can convey right now in this moment. They saw me think about exactly what I was going to say before I said it, and they blocked all those thoughts, so that's how it came out. All right, this is not the photo that I was looking for, but this is about as close as I can get. I've done a lot of scrolling. So you see there's all these little trackers, these identities in the area, you know, like once these cross, or you know, if two of them should decide to stand still for a moment of time, you know, and then they take off, you know, you claim that's an opportunity, that's the window to claim that one is the other, so on and so forth. Even suggests that someone is no longer there, because the element that this particular depiction supports is that it's not showing where this could be taking place inside of an airport. This could be taking place outside on a sidewalk, you know, an open sidewalk. You know, there that type of matter has been removed to show only the identities in the area. Dots in the area, you know, like they begin to claim that one's the dot and one's not, and the other's not. And both had two individuals in this scenario. Real quick, the worst thing about this entire thing is not that the identities involved, it's not like those in the area don't know that they're being used. You know, like these are government agents that are having a dual experience. So they have the individuals are possessed. The agent has complete control over the mind and body. So they know exactly what's taking place, and occasionally they'll do something to align, you know, something to let you know. So I said that to say that none of these motherfuckers are innocent in any way. She was walking with a kid, and he was outside with his son-in-law. Okay, so that was that. Okay, and this is all after last night. I didn't even make a video about last night. Okay, and this is all after last night. I didn't even make a video about last night. Any type of grunting that you hear is because I'm being pressed into the air mattress, and it's really painful. So far, you've seen me discuss nods or kinetics or kinetic nods. And I want you to know that what you saw me display is nothing like what the government has, like the type of technology that they has. It's just an example, something to better help you comprehend what's taking place. I was saying that theirs is way more advanced and it's way more horrible than I could ever, make out with what's available. The second thing is, I can't remember, they completely blocked the thought, so if it comes back to me, I'll mention it. Okay, so what happened last night was you can kind of see it, but it's not like you won't be able to tell. I got it up really well. I use vinegar and like dishwashing liquid, but they spilled my glass. They literally knocked my glass of wine over with physics. And when they did, I began to get it up, and it was like a really light scrub. You would have thought that I was scrubbing so fucking hard. Now, mind you, okay, yeah, this is another, mind you, they are drinking my liquor. Everything that I intake as far as an alcoholic beverage, they are drinking it right from my system. It's no different than the magic trick where they open up a portal and an endless scarf comes out, or they put a knife down and the knife manages to not sever the guy's throat, esophagus, throat, and midsection. It's like a really light scrub. You would have thought that I was scrubbing so fucking hard. Now, mind you, these brand new air mattresses that I'm on right now, let me get up. They deflate every day. So that one has a 4-hour max, and that's not even the new one. The new one's in my living room. Okay? The new one has less time. That's why the old one is in here. So it has a 4-hour max of staying like inflated before it begins to sink. This top one has like about an hour or two before it begins to sink in the middle a little bit. And like I said, these are new air mattresses that they're doing this stuff to. Like, and hold on. So yeah, anyhow, they spilled that glass of wine. I'm beginning to get it up. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I inflate these if I'm sleeping on them. But as you saw from my calendar, I've been sleeping on my floor. That's how uncomfortable the government is ensuring they keep me in my apartment. And as long as they're keeping me on the floor, they're suggesting that I'm homeless and at Soma City Hospital. Okay, a lot of corruption. Okay, so recall they were trying to make two and disappear and continue 2018. And since I'm already situated with the court, so to speak, that's one less thing that they have to worry about. They don't have to worry about orchestrating something to get me put on a civil commitment. I'm on probation for a year, and they saved that guy's life with magic. Okay? The alignment when you open it up on here is weird. Ideally, this fits all on one page. Non-stop corruption. Okay. So, and that's the only time I ever slept on the floor in my life. And you can see that on my, I need to turn the Wi-Fi on, hold on. Okay, so for the past few days, I have been freeing up space. I got 2 new. Okay, so now to finish or complete what I was saying about last night. You thought that I was scrubbing hard, you know, and there's times where I blow those air mattresses up in the middle of the night. Very rare, but there is times where I make my mind up that I'm not sleeping on the floor, and I'm like, I get in them and I'll inflate them if they deflate. So with that being said, it sounds no different than it sounds when they run their vacuum from a distance. Like, it sounds very faint, you know. So with oh, they're jamming my thoughts so bad. So when that takes place, obviously that's louder than the scrubbing or the wiping and blotching that was taking place. But don't you know, Kelly Bunt's liability, Steve had the nerve to like hit the wall a couple of times. And eventually it became apparent that he was like, doing it indirectly at me. So I hit the floor and I told him, like, yo, shut the fuck up. And he didn't say anything. And then he finally said something. But I went on and on for a couple of minutes about all kinds of, you only doing that shit because I'm, because there's walls between us. You would never try that shit to my face. All kind of stuff. This is the same motherfucker that normally be hiding. And because they're informed agents, they know exactly where I stand in every moment, okay? So they know that if I'm not appropriate, I'm not going to be running outside to chastise nobody. Let me show you this next video. And that's where the problem comes in, is new weave. They don't have any way to justify stealing DNA. They can't fake an encounter with me. So a lot of the agents actually show up as those that I come across in Zoom court. So they'll sit in as a judge or a magistrate. They'll sit in as a lawyer. They'll sit in as a probation officer. And you got to think, for every time that they show up, how many millions of identities that is satisfied. They represent, that's why I said that the neighbors represent world problems. The government is using them and they represent world problems. So whenever they pull off a fake stunt with them, they apply it across the board, across millions and millions of neighborhoods. Okay? So that attack that was made last night, in which he went silent while I went on about beating his ass, is it played out in the way that, they manipulated reality by me not coming outside and by my door being closed. Often my door stays open throughout the night for many nights, in a row until I decide to close it, because my storm door is always locked. And occasionally I'll set the alarm. There's an alarm as soon as you walk in, like a little ADT type setup. So anyhow, let me show you this other video. I drink. They're trying to act like I don't drink because they're claiming that I'm in a bad condition and that I'm not who I say I am. My name change. The hearing for my name change takes place on April 1st at 10 a.m. I put in the application in January from the second stimulus check. As you can imagine, you know, all those things, all that correspondence, all those numbers are available. So I'm just going to show them boldly walking back and forth. And this is after, you know, that transpired and we've been notified to stay. And they have a constant sought to make it appear that I don't stay here. For example, let me show you something. Okay, that doesn't have a location. That doesn't have a location. No location. I'm looking for one with location. Because one did have it. Here it is. That's where they're claiming I am, and there is nothing there. It's a spot that got tore down a long time ago. And I was just looking. Suddenly, they're all trying to act like they're moving freely. So, like they were doing things like when dream and they're trying to get rid of the identities to hide what they've done to me. You're gonna hear that again. They'll like literally throughout their dual experience watch and make sure they don't have to worry about me surfacing and do things that they never do. So that's what was taking place. Me wording it as moving freely isn't really a good way to word it, but it's true. These are things that don't have confidence. It's not in their genetic makeup. You know, they otherwise stay closed off, and now they're stealing so much DNA from me that these things are comfortable with speaking loudly and drawing attention to themselves. Not. I'm listening. They just are acting like they're back there cooking. You see, you know, look this way, you don't record it. But they keep going back there. He ain't got nothing but a grill and like a fucking fire pit back there. That's Skinny White, 310. In front of 302. She's also doing something she don't normally do. And she just got done walking in front of my place. Like, it's weird. Like, when I don't go out for days, they try to close in, like, on my space. So, like, although they're not hanging, because they have no other way to claim that they're me and maintain the false vibrational frequency that they're in. When you see the changes that have been made to them over time, over the 2 years that I've lived here on Upland Avenue, you're gonna, like, wait till you see the befores and after. Out in front of my door like they normally do. And it's not just those two. It's like literally 90% of Upland Avenue, and there's not a lot of houses on this street. Like Hemming Court, this alley that I'm looking towards, is taking place there too. As you can see, they hit in a space I'm talking about extreme invert, like they just invert them overnight. In forever, like, and he just came from back there with Kelly Bond's son-in-law. And he walked back there for no reason. So last year it was established that, you know, anywhere near my porch was off limits. But as you can see, they continue to migrate there. I have a handful of videos where I show up and catch them hanging out in front of my door. Not in the backyard. They were just trying to hang out in front of my door to suggest that it was them that lived here and have the activity that I have that's being reported, you know, as far as cleanliness and workmanship, you know, like all the effort that I put in towards bringing the government down. They're not regarding it in that way. But they're saying that, you know, like, she's solid, you know, she's noteworthy, and they all want to be that. And this is after that dumb bitch hit on the ceiling last night. And the agent said that they were betting on me not being prepared because they knew I was about to wash my hair. Amongst other things, like I just put my laundry away. I did laundry yesterday. And I'm in a scarf. I want you to tell, like, I don't have no clothes on. So this is the type of shit that they do when they see I'm unprepared. But yeah, that bitch was trying to start some shit with me last night, and I'm gonna kill his ass. So anyhow, the landlord has been like unresponsive. I started looking for another place yesterday. But it doesn't change what's going to transpire here. Like, really, that's just like for nothing. I'm doing that for nothing. By the time I get all that stuff in place, like, it'll be too late. The beginning of the summer, and I'll be to killed them already. Like, this will be on the news. Matter of fact, this should be my last video for that neighbors thread. I was trying to think of something. Okay, so I just not to say that. Yeah, he's looking. You can see he just looked at my camera. He's acting like he's waiting on somebody to come pick it up, like he's selling. When I say my camera, I'm talking about the one in my window next to my door. Not the phone camera. He didn't look up at me. You just saw me react. That's what they do. They keep their heads down. They know as long as they keep their head down, I'm not going to respond. So anyhow, yeah, there's a camera at my door. I have two bedrooms. There's a camera in each window, so it's catching. I was saying that I have two windows in my bedroom and that it's catching the things on the left and the things on the right, because they keep up a lot of activity with just strangers coming by, you know. You can see he just looked at my camera. He's acting like he's waiting on somebody to come pick it up, like he's selling it. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward in this. Like, they go by a couple more times. Like, you'll see them passing by. I don't think I say a whole lot. A couple of times I didn't even catch it, so I had to change my angle. And her son-in-law is good for that. You've seen him sitting on my porch before by now, to support the suggestion that I was good with the tenants that are downstairs. So her daughter, Kelly Bunt's daughter, was standing posing as Steve, and he was sitting on my porch posing as me, and they were carrying on a conversation. And this is right after I got in. They were shoveling the snow, and they've already displayed, hey, they had no reason to be concerned about my area. They always be nice when they're trying to when they're desperate, you know, to pull something off. So they'll play nice and just to try and get their way. And the landlord has been rejecting my mail. That's true. It's on Facebook. Okay. So when my doors open, they swing wide. They make sure they don't get near my step or my railing. And when they think I'm not watching, they'll hang on to my railing and kind of just chill on it, you know, from the backside. So it's a little shit like that is sabotaging the fuck out of me, as they claim I'm not here. And those are agents that like I said, they're desperate. They'll show up and do something so that they have something to manipulate reality with. I hate them motherfuckers. Okay, here. No one's watching. No one's paying attention to anything. Okay? They're all lying. They're all saying what they were told to say. So when they get rid of an identity, the identity does what they tell them to do. The identity will say what they were told and respond how they were told to respond about the situation. They haven't looked into anything. So meanwhile, while they're trying to insult my mental, everything makes sense. These are all the formal complaints that I've written. This is the last and most recent. To the landlord. I have not put the rent in escrow. I was writing a judge and a detective that I used to date, and they corrupted both those files. That's everywhere. I've mentioned it everywhere on the internet. This is the one to the housing authority. This is to AMHA.